make the difference. I think we need to be smart at the very end of the game when you're fatigued. You got to be mentally smart throughout the entire 90 minutes,
Sure.
and we've seen 2 weeks in a row that hasn't happened.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, the two glaring differences today is that we were unprofessional, unlike last week, and this week we had chances. We had a number of clear-cut chances. I mean, there were two chances in the. I'm trying to think what minute they were. I think around. Let me think when it was. I think it was in the 70s. Yeah, it was around the 76th minute. Eriksson should have actually Sissoko made an unbelievable volley into Eriksson. He had a shot over the bar, and there was another. I think Sissoko,
no, that one was tipped.
It was tipped.
It went out for a corner, so it was on target.
I meant, but Eriksson actually had a better chance on another, I think, Sissoko ball, and that was one that he just sort of mistimed a volley. My point was, at least we had better chances today. So I mean, but we sold a £50 million right back, and we put our future with our new number 2, who was completely uninfluential last week, was this week, and made a critical error, in the game today that cost us a total of 3 points. And so my point is that. Look, you knew you were going to sell Kyle Walker. Why do we not have a right back? And if it's Serge Aurier, I don't think that was he really unattainable earlier in the window? Well, I suppose he was. I suppose he was because of his legal issues.
He probably was.
Yeah, no, he was.
Well, I mean, now with the financial fair play, I mean, that's one of the reasons they're being kind of forced into selling these players.
Yeah.
When they pay
PSG's not only going to be selling him. There's Di Maria and then a few others that may have to go to be able to, because now they've taken Mbappe on loan, right?
Yeah. Is that to get and they did that in that manner, I guess, to get around financial fair play rules, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely cause for pause when you look at this and try to speculate. And obviously Bass has talked about Monday morning quarterbacking and what we could have done better. And I see your point, Sam. And I know that you're a huge Thomas Lemar fan, and I think that would he have made an influential difference? He would have. Is he going to make that difference at 45 or possibly 50 million pounds that we'd have to spend for him? I don't know. But could you get Wilfred Zaha for 10 million less? And is he worth that to you? And will he have the same kind of impact on a match? And is he better than Sonny? Is he going to come in and immediately start and immediately give you that pace, that ball control, which is unbelievable? Oh, by the way, and scoring prowess.
Well, that is something worth talking about because Sonny just was. I mean, he wasn't even He didn't show up today. He was a complete non-event, which is surprising, right? Because it's not like
he had some good passes into the box that should have. We have not been clinical in front of the goal starting out this season. He created some chances, and we just didn't finish them. I don't think Sonny did bad. He was pressing on the wings. He drew out the defender, and he made some good balls into the box, right to feet, wide open, and we just didn't capitalize on the chances he created.
Yeah. I don't know why we were so flat today. But
yeah,
we
and
were,
you would think.
Speaking.
And then speaking of flat, it definitely resonated throughout the squad. I mean, Harry's drought in August continues. If you would have told me Newcastle away, Chelsea and Burnley at home, I'm telling you he's bagging a goal. There's no way that he's not bagging a goal. And he hit the woodwork at least twice that I can remember, and he had a couple of good chances today that went right to the keeper. But Tim, I want to start with you.
Right-footed shot should have scored, and then he had the 1v1. And granted, Heaton's a very good keeper, but he probably should have scored there too.
He's the best striker in the Premier League. He should be scoring from those shots, at least from one of them, I would guess. Tim, I want to start with you on this. I want to get away from the ones that didn't go in. I want to talk about the one that did and the lack of reaction from Delhi. I mean, he toe pokes that in. There's no ties to Burnley that I'm aware of. Zero celebration and zero enthusiasm. Is he that frustrated right now that even a goal is not going to put a smile on his face?
Oh, man. I have absolutely no clue. I mean, maybe the frustration is that we've been dominating and we should have been up by more than one at that point. Maybe he was frustrated that he didn't hit it in on the first time and had to rely on just this gifted chance that laid right in front of him. I have no clue, but I mean, Sammy said it before, and I'm starting to get afraid of this. I mean, are we witnessing the last season here at Tottenham for this type of player?
They're going to have to do something, right? We've talked until we're blue in the face about the fact that a year at Wembley gives them more than twice their normal crowd in revenue, which bleeds over into concessions and sales. It should afford them, even with building a new stadium, the ability to bump salaries up enough to keep them. I look at Pochettino and I look at the organization. Sure, any young kid would want to come here and play, but now they're coming here and playing and making a difference. And conversely, it's making it difficult for players that are out there for purchase to bring them in, because if they're not going to play right away because of Eriksen and Ali and Kane, it's hard to get an influx of very good new players. And Sammy's right. There is a real fear out there that this could be it to keep players like Dele Alli and Christian Eriksen. I don't think Harry's going to go anywhere anytime soon. We're going to have to open up the coffers. These guys are going to have to be getting close to 180 to 200K a week. In the very near future, if we're going to retain their services.
I'm going to be honest, my concern right now at this point, it's not the money, it's not the contract, the wage. I'm concerned about finishing in the top 4. What the fuck is going on? Is someone moving? Are you moving into a new house?
Who, me? No, I've got a screaming 2-year-old. Sorry. And so I closed the door. I'm surprised you guys haven't complained. And I'm leaving myself wide open because I've been bitching about your dogs and cats for 2 weeks. About fair play.
So I mean, I'm not concerned right at this point about the wage. My concern is about maintaining Champions League, because I'm going to be honest, everyone in the league has gotten so much stronger with the amount of money they're spending, bringing these players. And with this slow start, I am legitimately starting to have concerns about top 4. I'm not even looking at the league.
Well, just all the bullshit, just all this constant uphill battle, and this just, it's always so difficult. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm reading into that. Look, it's early days, and Tim, I mean, even you said at the beginning of the show, we lost to Man United, then we had all those draws, and we still end up being second. So it's a long season, and we need to.
Yeah, I mean,
but I understand what you're saying. I mean, if I would have told you that, hey, after the first 5 games last year, chill, we're going to get second, you'd think I was mad. So I get it, but I just think that we just because of our so-called lack of money. And the way that we go about doing things, a player like Dele Alli is like, what am I doing here? And I think that's what is that what you're really kind of saying more than anything else? I mean, obviously, if we don't get top 4, I mean, I've got players like that absolutely gone. But let's just say even we get 4th, that we struggle in the last 2-3 weeks of the season to get 3rd or 4th. Why does Dele Alli want to be here?
Yeah, and I know you got up to go grab a beer, Sam, and the question that was asked was, when you have a player like Dele, what do we have to do to retain his services?
Got to win. Got to win.
Got to win. You got to win somewhere. You got to put them on a platform.
Got to win. And winning shows that the mindset is changed, and it's not just talk, and it's not just promise. That you're actually a winning, one of the absolute top clubs in the world, or in our case, virtually right there. And we've been knocking on the door.
And I totally agree with you. And I think that the purchases that we make in player acquisition need to reflect that. When we bought Toby, yes, he was on loan at Southampton, but he is a Atletico Madrid pedigree, and they had just won one of the bigger European competitions. I can't remember what it was.
They got the Champions League final.
That's what it was.
1 year. I don't know whether he played in it.
So he has that pedigree. Yeah. But when you look at others, we bought Trips, came from Burnley, promoted from the Championship and all that, but it's still Burnley. Sissoko, Newcastle, enough said. Wimmer comes from SC Köln, nothing really there, and he's proved to really produce nothing on the pitch. Wanyama comes from Southampton, worked under Pochettino and thrived under Pochettino, never really has won anything. So what I'm thinking back at and trying to get to is that we're purchasing players that, other than Sonny at Leverkusen, don't really have any kind of a winning pedigree whatsoever. And that's why I'm kind of leaning now towards this Serge Aurier possibility as, you know what, he's got Champions League pedigree. He's won, the French league with PSG, except for last year when Monaco took it from him.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever going to deny his footballing talent and his pedigree.
No, it's the pedigree. The talent is talent regardless of where it is. Footballing talent, there are fine lines and very narrow margins when you look at footballers. I'm talking all the way from the Premier League down to League Two. Somebody can prop up and cause all sorts of trepidation in the League Cup.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of guys. There are a lot of guys this week that have talked about the fact that, hey, look, he's a nasty bastard, and better him be our nasty bastard than somebody else's. And I'm not going to opine on whether I agree with that or not, but I understand why that person said that, because that's where it's all bullshit. It's all talk, and you got to do it. And this is the year that I don't care where we're playing, but if you want to keep these players, we're going to have to win. And so it begs the question, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? You're able to get successful players because you start winning, or do you start winning because you start buying some talented and potentially successful players? And I think it should be the latter.
And you have to temper that and be very careful, right? Look at Everton, who bought a shitload of really good footballers, and it's not translating onto the pitch yet.
I don't know. I think that was up for debate. But I mean, if you go out and and I'm just using this just he's a sitting duck to bring up. But if you go buy a Thomas Lemar, I mean, or a player of that kind of lineage, or maybe even a Julian Draxler, or you just go spend a lot of money in the eyes of the fans, it makes it feel like, and maybe even to the players too, wow, we're really making a statement here. We're not fucking about.
We're trying.
As opposed to nickel and diming. And so now with Barkley, and I hate to come back to him, but I want to just bring this up. I made a comment a couple of weeks ago. Well, what happens if that falls through? Well, that may fall through intentionally, but just by the way, the fact that he's injured, he can't help us immediately. Then what do you do? And I just, maybe our transfer window plan after this is all said and done is going to become apparent. But the Musa Sissokos of the world make me feel like that we don't really have a coherent plan.
Which is upsetting, right? Because the smart thing to do would be to go out and spend $80 to $100 million in this window. You've already gained almost 80 as it stands. So why not break even? What's it going to hurt? I understand that there's numbers out there that talk to transfer kitty, allotment versus how much profit that a company makes, and companies being clubs. And so that's why the Uniteds and the cities of the world can spend the way that they do, because their revenue stream is such that it allows them to do that, whereas Spurs just don't simply have that yet. But you're right. If you want to retain some of these players, I think you need to actually go and buy players that will challenge them for their positions. Well, there's no reason that says why Dele Alli can go out and play. Even though he scored, he was a bit of a ball hog and a possession hog, and maybe attitude-wise even needs to maybe sit. But there's no one that you can put on the pitch right now that can do that.
Well, I think Tim's bringing up of what might happen with him speaks to the sort of the fine margins of all of this. And I've just always said, hey, look, and I've spent a lot of time on the English call it the accounts and the Americans call it the financials. I've spent a lot of time on Spurs financials, and I can confidently tell you that there's plenty of money to be ambitious. And even if you wanted to argue with me, the point is that the margins are so fine that it's worth a calculated risk. It's worth certain investments, arguably over and above what you think your financial means might be. I think our financial means are fine, especially as a football club with a 70,000 seater stadium or 61,000 seater stadium and all of the revenue that comes with it. And to Tim's point, if you fuck this up and you don't make Champions League, or you're just kind of marginally, making Champions League again, you stand the chance to lose these great players, to lose the momentum that you have, and I just think that's too much of a risk to not invest in. That's my take on all this.
This season, I think marginally is okay. Being at Wembley away
for
from
who
home.
though? But for who though, Tim? Is it marginally okay for a Dele Alli?
This season, we have to enter the new stadium playing in championship.